talk about something pretty interesting, which is the best ideas and who has the best ideas. Let's talk about that. Going on, everybody? How is everyone doing? Yes, happy Friday. Happy Friday. The topic I want to talk about today was, who has the best ideas? Who has the best ideas? And, that's a very interesting question. Um, and I was really thinking about it because, lots of people consider themselves introverts. I have some thoughts about that as well, whether or not introverts are really a thing, actually. You know what? I think actually the true definition of introverts and extroverts, I don't know if you guys know, but the true definition of introverts and extroverts has nothing to do with how outgoing you are or how talkative you are. Being an introvert means that you could be very social, but you just require quiet time, quiet time to recharge. And being an extrovert, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean you're the most talkative person. It just means when you're around a lot of people and you're in social situations, that recharges your energy. But I think most people, they think the traditional definition of introverts and extroverts are that extroverts are very outgoing, introverts are very, they keep to themselves. And that is a very, very, to me, a very interesting concept because, I often, when I observe, when I observe other folks, for example, when I observe people when they get drunk, why is it when they get drunk, introverts turn into extroverts? Is it because the alcohol makes them talkative all of a sudden? Or is it because of some other reasons? Is it because they finally gave themselves permission to express themselves? That is what I'm talking about here. It's that a lot of people I think that labeled themselves as introverts when they were younger, they didn't really realize that what they were really meaning was that they were just shy. And every introvert that I met, when I asked them when they were younger, they had some traumatic incident where they were trying to express themselves through singing, through dancing, through drawing, maybe just through talking. And through that self-expression, they were shut down. Maybe shut down by a parent, an uncle or auntie, an older sibling, maybe even a teacher. In the case of teachers, that's especially vile. But, I've seen that happen. I'm a room parent now, so I see the observations, or I observe and I see how the kids interact. And I see that when kids are expressing themselves when they get shut down, I could see a future introvert right there. So why did I start off talking about introverts and extroverts when I'm talking about good ideas? Is that, I run a company and we have company meetings. And I always wonder, I'm hearing a lot of ideas, but are these really the best ideas or just the best ideas of the most talkative people? So one thing that's important, if you work in an organization where you feel like only the talkative people, only the quote unquote extroverts, only their ideas are being heard, you got to think of other ways to make it safe for people to communicate how they feel. Maybe have a box of anonymous suggestions and then take those anonymous suggestions and let people vote on, what is the best idea? That's a great way. And what I'm working on is I'm practicing on different ways that I could help create safe spaces for people so that they could properly express themselves, because I believe everyone is extremely expressive. Everyone wants to express themselves. People that say that they are shy, Maybe they're not as talkative. Maybe they're not as outgoing as the most outgoing people, but you can't tell me they don't want to express themselves. I know so many people that hit me up on DMs and they ask me, what can I do to be more vocal? What can I be, or what can I do to be more out there? Put myself out there so that other people could hear my voice. And the answer's not always the same, but it's like everything. Practice makes perfect. You got to put in the reps. Like I said, some people are more talkative than others when you just first start off, but I was a very shy kid. I was one of those kids that got shut down a lot when I was younger. I was the youngest in my family. I was the youngest of all my cousins. And when you're the youngest, you don't really get a say. I would cry. I would tattle on them. But they never respected me. But every time I tried to tell a joke, a knock-knock joke or something, they would always say how childish it was or how it wasn't funny. And that really kind of made me become more and internalize just a lot of things. And when I internalized a lot of my ideas and I blocked myself from expressing myself, you know what happened? Became an angry Asian male. Very angry. Yeah. Hey, it is Friday. Anyone feel like joining me on this broadcast today? I'll set something up. I'm going to hang out. I'm going to hang out for a few more minutes here. And if anyone wants to join me, I'm going to put a Skype link. Hold on. I'm creating the Skype link right now. Copy link. I'm going to place it right into the comment section. So if anyone's watching, if anyone has any comments, you could always feel free to join me if you want to talk about this. It's a really interesting subject in my opinion. Lots of people in the workplace that want to speak up. Ricardo is here. What's up, Ricardo? What's up, my brother? If you want to join me, just click on the Skype link. Yeah. Avi is here too. Yeah. You know what? Yeah, speaking of these ideas are very, the best ideas, it's an interesting concept. I mean, best, right? It's very subjective, but, I work in a sales department. So in the sales department, everyone is very talkative. Everyone's very gregarious. So we never had that problem. Everyone tends to speak up. But in other departments, like I have a couple buddies that are graphic designers. They got excellent ideas, but they feel like speaking up, for whatever reason in their mind, speaking up is a negative thing. And they just don't do it, They're just like, well, we'll run with these other ideas. When these ideas crash and fail, I'll let the boss man know exactly what I was speaking or exactly what I was thinking. And, that's kind of crazy when you think about it, like how many people have good ideas that are silenced. So this is why I think it's very important for us to start understanding that, we put an overemphasis on people that are gregarious and like speak up. We give them a lot of props, and they are the people that we hear the most. And I'm one of those people. I'm very gregarious. I'm very verbose. I love to speak. So I'm kind of speaking against my best interest here, but it's what I believe. It's what I've observed in this world. I have so many friends that are on Facebook that don't voice their opinion. They're afraid that if they voice their opinion on Facebook, that people are going to jump down their throats. People are going to criticize them. People are going to have differing opinions. And you know what? Isn't that the point? That's the point, right? Like I talked about steel manning and straw manning debates. And, a lot of people are like, why would you ever steel man someone's debate? Don't you want to win? And I think that's really very much like That's the attitude that got us into this predicament that we're in here, is that we're going into debates trying to win, not trying to learn. And when you try to learn things, it's really interesting, you know? I offer a lot of advice. People come to me for a lot of like career advice, for a lot of relationship advice. They like to talk philosophy with me. But when it comes to the racial inequities in America, you know, I'm not that well read up on it. I know how to treat humans well. Yep, Avi said it. It's scary to voice your opinion on Facebook, especially with the current climate of people just unfollowing you instantly if they don't agree. And you know what? That's an interesting comment. I've seen it. I've seen that before. And I'm not too sure what I think about that. You know, there are some people that I've unblocked and unfriended. Not because they disagree with me, but because their opinions are divisive, and their opinions do not unite. Their opinions don't build bridges. But if you want to tell me weed isn't the end all be all that I think it is, I won't unfriend you. You know? To me, that's totally cool to have a different opinion. And actually, the best companies, if you look at the best companies, even if it's all run by people that look the same, you know, people love to say, oh, look at that company. It's all white executives. But you know what? Even if they look all homogenous, I will be willing to bet you that they have a very diverse set of thoughts. And that might surprise you when you look at the biggest companies having the most diversity in thought. But in my experience, what makes companies really good is that they do have a lot of competing ideologies within the company. They might all look the same, but they don't think the same. And by having these competing ideologies and talking to each other, they're able to expose each other's blind spots. You know? I'm lucky to have African American friends. They taught me a lot of things. I didn't read about these things. I just listened. And I think that's the important part, you know? Let's do some more listening and understanding. And right now, you know, I was talking to my wife this morning. She was telling me that we should talk more. We should talk more about the racial inequities. And it's interesting, you know? I told her I'm not an expert. But even if I'm not an expert, that doesn't mean I don't know how to treat people. And you know, that's funny. I was like, what's that noise? Then I realized it's my wife behind me. Yeah. Interesting stuff. Ooh. Ricardo, are you on? Yeah, my boy Ricardo. How are you? Happy Friday.